So I'm Heba. I was born and raised in Chapel Hill, and I do have a great long history with Lulu. I was an ambassador for the showroom, and I opened both stores, so make sure you visit them if you don't work there, which a lot of you do. And when Rain and Serena first reached out to me, I thought, well, I don't really know if, my story is the best one, because it's more about having the power to reinvent yourself and not letting your life circumstances define you and defining what you want out of life. And he said, that's exactly what I want to hear. So I said, I ran into Serena in Target. She's like, just do it. So I said, okay. So about 11 years ago, I was in pharmaceutical sales, wearing very uncomfortable plus-size clothing from Lane Bryant. And I thought, God, I want to be on reality TV. And Biggest Loser was casting, so I went with my husband at the time, and I mean, anybody that knows me would say, oh, you'd be perfect on reality TV. Well, yes, I guess, sure. The producers thought so. So I went on the show, and I went on there thinking, like, you are going to win this whole thing. You are going to get there, and you are going to kick ass, and you are not going to let it take you down. So why wouldn't I want to go somewhere and wear biker shorts and a sports bra and tell all of America how much I weigh on a huge scale? Sounds like an awesome plan. So I did, and the day-to-day there I won't really get into, but it was a lot. It was 12 hours a day of working out. I was away from anyone I loved for like 6 months. No TV, no cell phone, no newspapers, no calls to home, just working out and doing the TV thing. When the time was up, I stood on the scale the night of the live finale, and I had smashed every single record that any female up in 6th season of that show had had. So I felt like I did it, and I still like, thanks. I don't even know why I'm crying this early. But it was like, right then I knew, God, you can do hard shit. Like, you can do anything. You just made it. You beat 200,000 people onto this show. You got on there. You lost 139 pounds, not always the healthy way, in 6 months. Like, there is nothing you can't do. So after the show, I was on the show with my husband at the time. My new husband is Mr. Tesla in the front row. Yeah. I'm going to give him lots of shit for talking about that. He worked hard for it. But, after the show, it's like, what do I do? And I should be, like, super happy. I'm, like, a size 10. And so I turned around and did, in 1 year, 2 Olympic distance triathlons, 2 half marathons, and 10 other races. And I was just, like, pouring myself into this, like, physical activity. And I still felt like what was happening is this Biggest Loser thing was defining me. I wasn't, like, in control. I wasn't that happy. Like, I thought this was, like, the pinnacle. Like, something else was missing. And my dad, who's, like, my favorite person on the planet, sat me down and he said, look, I think, like, your 15 minutes is just about up. It's time to get a job. Because I was getting paid for speaking engagements and endorsements and all kinds of stuff. And I said, you know what? Like, I want to be a photographer. I had always written it in every journal. I had always said, I want to be a wedding photographer. We did some goal-setting thing at Lulu, and they used to have these postcards that had BHAGs on them that were big, hairy, audacious goals. So this was in, like, the summer of 2010. I wrote, I want to be a professional wedding photographer by April 2011. Well, my dad got me all my first set of equipment. I started shooting portraits that fall. By April 2011, Jamie, who's the manager of the Lulu store in Raleigh, hired me to shoot her wedding. So I hit my goal. And I'm proud to say I'm 10 years strong in business now, and I shoot lots of weddings and portraits. And so I was like, darn girl, you did it. So I'm a couple years into business, and I decide I want to start a family. And it didn't really happen for me. God, Lee, I have to preface this by saying if I cry a lot, I'm in the middle of fertility treatments right now, so I'm on a lot of hormones. My husband's like, oh God. I'm not usually this up and down. I usually have it like more pulled together. So by the luck of modern medicine, I was able to conceive my daughter, and she's now 5.5. And I thought, gosh, I have it all, a business, a kid. Let's open a restaurant. Like, I can do it. I'm not done yet. Like, let me just like throw my hat in the entrepreneur ring times two. So the time I was married to a chef, we opened a restaurant. You may have heard of it. It was called Fig and Honey. I was doing it. I Googled it. I looked up on YouTube, and I figured out how to open a damn restaurant, and I sure did. We won Best of the Independent, and about 4 months after we opened, my marriage fell apart. So there I was, 2 businesses, a 14-month-old baby, and a husband that was not interested in being married anymore. And I thought, oh, okay, remember that thing you said about not letting things define you? Like, let's put those big girl panties on and do this. So I just remember feeling like, I'm a single mom. I'm lost. How am I going to do this? And I didn't know that those 6 months of physical work really gave me so much mental strength that I was like, okay, you got this. And one of my girlfriends looked at me and said, if anybody is going to kick ass at being a single mom, it's you. And I was like, okay. So I started to realize that people really believed that I was this awesome, strong person that could do anything. So I told myself I could. So I said, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to kick ass at being a single mom and trying to run 2 businesses. So, a few months go by and I decide, let's just do something else crazy. I'm going to start dating, because everybody wants to do that late in their 30s. Okay, well, it's not for the faint of heart. I will say, you would have been proud of me. The first date I went on, I got to the bar, I shook the guy's hand, because I was just not sure, and I said, 2 of my friends and my dad have your picture, they know where I am, and if you're planning on putting me in a barrel, it's not going to go well for you. And he was like, nice to meet you. I mean, talk about like shoulder. I mean, I was probably like this. Because online dating didn't exist when I met my first husband. Like, I knew 30 people that knew him, and I thought, okay, dating, okay. So I just kept at it. I was like, girl, you're gonna power through this and you're gonna find love again. And then one day my unicorn shows up, and I met Greg, and I thought, like, this is good. Like, I was confident enough to just go out there. Now, that girl, before I had conquered that competition and just crushed it, would never have had the courage to go out there. And I found a funny thing during all this. I started to tell my truth. I'm a storyteller by day for my job. I tell people stories and pictures. I was keeping all of this close to the vest. I didn't tell anybody I was getting a divorce. I didn't mention that I was dating, and I would start to leak it out in little pockets. And the more and more you're remembering, I was like, okay, guys, so my best friend doesn't know yet that I'm getting divorced. And the more and more I planted these seeds, the more and more people came to me and were like, thank you for telling your truth, because I feel now that I can tell you my marriage isn't what it looks like on Instagram. Being a mom is really freaking hard. Struggling with my weight, I lost weight in a very public forum, and I'm up and down all the time, and it's just, you gotta tell your truth. So I meet Greg, and we get married, and I will say, a side note, on our 3rd date, he was like going to his car, and I was like, is that a Mercury? I didn't know what a Tesla was. I don't think that was really good for his ego, but we all like to laugh about that, because I had no idea. He's probably glad I didn't know, because, I mean, that's kind of cool, right? I wouldn't drive it for a long time, but. So we got married, and then we have decided, like, now, where are we today? I'm in the middle of trying to have another child, and it's been a very long, very sad road. I'm fine. But like, through it all, the more I've been open about it and the more I post about it on social media, like somebody else, I posted on National Infertility Awareness Week, and I got, I think, 200 messages we counted from people being like, thank you. Thank you for being honest. Thank you for being transparent. Thank you for telling your story. And I said, well, this isn't defining me. I'm choosing to turn it around, help somebody out with my story, and reinvent myself wherever I am. So I'm not sure where the next chapter leads, but I know that I'm finally in a place where I'm doing the job I love. I wasn't happy in a restaurant. I wasn't happy as a drug rep. I'm not one of those girls that's good having a boss. Kind of just better being my own boss. Big nod to the entrepreneurship. We know who we are. Like, I mean, it's just I was never really good at having a boss. I did sell Mary Kay too. I know. I mailed it all back and asked for my money back. I was so bad at it. So your mom is awesome. But I just feel like I wasn't happy so many times over those periods, but because I had done this extraordinary thing that tied back to me taking control of my body and my life and doing it so publicly, I felt like I can do hard shit. I can reinvent myself no matter what stage I am in life. No matter what happens to me, I'm going to reinvent myself and I'm going to define it, and I'm not going to let it define me. So I'm going to leave y'all with that, and I hope you had fun tonight.